So my first book was written in the 1970s when I was teaching people, and they said, why don't you write a book? We'd like to have this so we can continue to study it. And so I went, oh, wow. You know, again, it was sort of a backtracking for me. How do I teach people to learn something that's very natural? But I went, okay, this is where people are at. This is what they can understand and how to help them tap into the ability. You can't just say, there it is.
Right.
Go for it.
No.
You know.
You need to
you need to guide them back into remembering. And so I wrote Animal Talk to help people to remember. And it has a lot of stories in there which shift people's consciousness and again take them back a lot of times to when they were kids. So besides the steps and that they can follow on how it works and how they can actually practice it with their own animal friends and with wild animals, there are stories in my book, Animal Talk, that show you how animals are intelligent, how they listen, and that when you communicate to them, they change. They shift right before your eyes. And you've noticed that yourself, how animals change just by being receptive to them. They know that you understand. And then when you acknowledge whatever it is they're trying to say, just like I had that interaction with the wasps and with many domesticated animals, they respond, and they respond very favorably. And they shift and they change. So Animal Talk can give you a perspective, a remembrance, and then how to develop it. So you sit down, you learn the steps, you learn how to be present, get your energy calmer so that you can listen, and then you start to get the animal's feelings and sensations, and you learn what it is. So I call telepathy, and in my book, Animal Talk, I call it extended senses. So you take your physical senses and it's a bit more, it's like fine-tuned. You know, they do these studies where they map the brain when people are doing this kind of work, and they show that it's another vibration. It's another area of the brain lights up. And they show that it's a different kind of energy, just like we can't see radio waves or microwaves.
Right.
Okay, they're
or
there.
Wind. Yeah.
They're there, but we can't see them. The same with telepathy. It's a finer tune. So when you're tuning into the animal, you can get their images, so the visual. You can get images from them, kind of like a movie or little photos. You can get smells. You can get taste. You can get what they're tasting, what they're touching, so you can get it kinesthetically. You can feel it in your own body. And you can get what they're thinking. You get thoughts, which you translate into words. So when I'm listening to an animal, I'm translating it into human words. The animal isn't necessarily saying human words, although some animals pick up human words, but they aren't necessarily, but I instantly translate because that's what I do as a human. Okay, and I'm good at translating it as close as possible to the concept they're giving me, what they really want to say. And so that's how it comes across. So we get their intentions. You know, sometimes people will be doing these exercises that they get from Animal Talk or in a course, and they'll go, oh, yeah, I have done this. I've gotten the horse's intention. That's why I ran out to the barn. I knew there was something wrong. And the horse is giving you that telepathically, is telegraphing, you know, putting out their intention. Help, I need help. I'm caught here. And they go out and the horse is caught, and they got it. They got it. So then they start to recover, and some people become very good at it very fast. And other people have to keep practicing, get beyond, because there's a lot of doubts. There's a lot of stuff that has been put on top of people. No, you can't do this. No, you're not intuitive. Animal Talk is the starter one. It's my basic classic book that people have used pretty much, I think every animal communicator, now there are hundreds of them all over the world, they're all using these principles. And then I wrote When Animals Speak. And When Animals Speak goes much deeper. So it goes into not only communicating with animals, but also when we were talking about communicating with the trees and the forces of nature and nature spirits. And it also goes into issues, problems we have with the animals, how to solve them, how to solve behavior problems, and also facing the issues of life and death. You know, all of us have to face that our animal friends are going to get old and die, or get sick and die. And it's there. So When Animals Speak goes into depth on what animal communication is about. How deep can it take us? How deep are the animals? And so it takes us on a lot of journeys in a much greater depth. So I recommend to people to start with Animal Talk, go to When Animals Speak, and then you get the richness. Some people still tell me, When Animals Speak is one of my favorite books of all time. And they read it again and again. It's very heartwarming and enriching. So it takes you on another level of the journey. If you want to go deeper, When Animals Speak. And then I have Animals in Spirit, which this is the one that people go to when their animals are dying, and when their animals, they want to communicate with their animals beyond death. And so Animals in Spirit particularly focuses on that. And I'll tell you, people need a lot of help around this, because death is not something that is an acceptable topic to talk about in a lot of our society. People want to just push it away, but you can't push it away with your little animal friend. You've got your cat living 15 to 20 years, your dog maybe 10 to 15 years, your little fish, your bird. They're going to live, you're going to see them die.
Yeah.
And so it brings up a lot for people. It brings up a lot of emotions, a lot of suppressed emotions. And people get really scared. They get really guilty. They feel, I didn't do enough for them. Or they just want to push it away and get rid of the animal. They just can't deal with it. And so Animals in Spirit will take you into how the animals deal with death. What do they think about dying? How can you help them best? And then how can you communicate to them when they have gone beyond this earth? Because then people realize, I'm not separate. I'm not closed off. That's an even bigger close off for people than being closed off in this physical realm. And I'm not closed off. We're always together. And your animal friends can communicate with you. And it's so beautiful. And so it has a lot of messages from animals of what they have said to their people. And also it takes up the subject of reincarnation, that many times our animal friends will come back to us because we need more help than just one lifetime.
Yeah, absolutely.
of an animal's 10 years or 15 years.